The last several days I've been talking about forgiveness for myself mainly. And one of the biggest things that I needed to forgive myself for was all of the things that I procrastinated about. And this topic made me think about things a lot in my past, how I managed everything from the time that I was in high school, went into college, the things that I would procrastinate about, the things that I wouldn't procrastinate about. And so it's kind of an interesting topic because we sort of choose how we spend our time. And if that's the truth, then is there really anything, hey Lindsay, hi honey, is there anything that we really procrastinate about, or do we just make choices that put things on hold? So I think it's a great topic because I found that I used to say in a positive way that I was just sort of a deadline girl, that I would get busy and get active and really turn things around, even in nursing school, in a very short period of time. You know, as an example, writing papers that were due the next day and staying up all night to get them done, and studying for, cramming for tests instead of studying slowly over a period of time. And I used to say that that's just the way that I was motivated, that I could really turn those things around. And I think there's a positive to that. I think it is true that people that tend to want to stew on things and think about things can turn them around pretty quickly and can be very productive once they set their mind to whatever project they need to get done. So the positive sides of behaving that way is that you can become highly productive by being motivated by a deadline. And so procrastination in that way maybe isn't such a bad thing. But what I have come to find out over my longer life, once I finished school, and it wasn't just about taking tests and working and trying to get through nursing school, and then it became about having children and trying to get work done and trying to get the house done and all those things, and sort of how was I going to spend my time, and how did I prioritize what I wanted to do and what I procrastinated about. And so it was an interesting thing to think about and to look back over a period of time. And what I realized was not everything that we do in life is inspiring. And if you're waiting for inspiration or for motivation, it may never come, especially when it's something that's really hard or really scary or really challenging. And so what I like to remember is that I do get inspired by a lot of things. I get inspired by creating things, by cooking, by doing jewelry, by looking at colorful pieces of fabric. Lots of things inspire me. They inspire my artistic side, at least. But what doesn't always inspire me are doing those things that aren't so fun, like doing research to write a paper, or getting ready to do a presentation in front of my corporate team, where I had to memorize and spew out a lot of numbers and remember off the cuff why we were in a certain situation, and being able to speak very clearly about where my region sat, where were the issues, and what was I going to do about them. So those were the kinds of things that were not inspiring at all. And I treated them like I was waiting for inspiration. So I would put them aside on the back burner while I was doing all these other things that I could come up with, which, in my mind, doing laundry and cleaning the house and dusting bottles, anything was more inspiring than doing some of those things. And I found myself getting very, very busy when it would lead up to a deadline. So I think that there's a lot to learn about that, because there are just some things that have to get done. Work is work. Hard work is hard work. And it's not going to be inspiring. You're not going to find inspiration to do some of those things. Some of them are just not fun. But what I also realized is that you can find work in life that is really fun to do, is inspiring, doesn't feel like hard work, doesn't feel like something you want to put on the back burner. So when I talk to women now, it's about, what is your dream? What inspires you? What gets you out of bed every day? What puts a smile on your face? And why isn't it okay that we find work in life that does that for us? And so instead of procrastinating about the things that are just awful and you don't really want to do, is it possible that there are some things that you can make a living doing that are very inspiring to you? So that's my topic for today. So I am the queen of procrastination, and I'll own that. There are things that I love to do, and I can turn out a whole bunch of things and be very productive, especially when I'm avoiding something. And then there are those things that I just have to get done that I know if I procrastinate about them, it just gets worse. Because what's on your mind day in and day out when you're putting something off, it's that thing that if you just got it out of the way, then you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. So what I've done to try to work on not procrastinating so much is blocks of time. And so I block time during the day, and if it's something that I just really have to tackle, like a project that I don't really feel inspired to do, then I block it first thing in the morning, and I give myself an amount of time, and I say, I can get this done in 90 minutes, or I can get this done in an hour and 20 minutes, whatever it is that you believe that it would take to get that project done, and then knock it out in that 2-hour block or that 90-minute block. And don't allow anything else to distract you. Don't allow any shiny balls. I call all kinds of fun, inspirational things shiny balls, but don't let anything else distract you from getting that thing done. And then you can move on to the fun things. So there are things about our jobs that there will be no inspiration. That bright light bulb is not going to come off. You're just going to have to get it done. And so I have found that I will now reward myself by getting that thing done first and then doing the fun things after. So that is my live for today. It's around procrastination. I'd like you to think about what are those things that you put on the back burner? What are those things that you realize you're thinking about, but instead of doing them, you're doing all kinds of other things. And maybe you're even at your most productive while you're not doing that thing. And just, make yourself tackle it, get it out of the way so that you can clear your brain to do those really fun things. So that's kind of what I want you to think about. I traveled today from Seattle. I got home. I'm safe, and it was a beautiful drive. Lots of deer out on the road, trying to find food probably, and so that's it for today. And tomorrow we'll continue. There's just a few more topics on forgiveness. I had a lot of things to forgive myself for. So we'll talk about a couple more before we get into the ritual. I hope you have a great Monday, and I hope you are not one of those people that spent all day Sunday starting to get a stomach ache, starting to dread Monday, starting to be crabby about Monday. Before I moved on to this new path in my life, Mondays were awful around our house. I would get so crabby, and I would just start really dreading Monday. And now Monday is just another great day. So have a great Monday, everybody. And if you find yourself dreading it and really hard to get to work every day, then you might want to think about whether or not you're burned out or you're headed in that direction, and do something about it before it's too late, before you get really, before your body gets sick because you're so burned out. And make it a great week. And I will talk to all of you tomorrow on day 18.